I'm going to sort of be brief because my statements after the game really, my feelings really haven't changed. After going back and watching the film, you know, I tell you, we're doing a lot of good stuff. We're not doing enough things right now to end up on top like we did this past week or didn't. But when you go back and look at us offensively, we don't turn the ball over. We've probably turned it over as few as any team in the country. We had 0 turnovers the other night. That was solid. Our kicking game continues to make plays for us, and it's been really good this year. It all comes down to right now scoring points. We're not scoring points. You know, you hold a team like App State, they're averaging almost 40 a game, and you hold them to 14 at halftime. You're in the football game. If you score any points, you're right there with them. And so I just thought our defensive effort was outstanding. I thought we had a good plan. I thought we made some good plays. And, you know, if we had got any offensive production with the field position that we got with the 2 turnovers, with the big punt return, our offense had good field position. Get down in the red zone a couple of times and we come away empty, one with the missed field goal, the other times with a bad snap, one with a sack. So just lost yardage plays really hurt us offensively. But, you know, when you look at our team, our football team is not broken completely. We've got a really good team. We're just not doing some things you've got to do to win games right now, and that's score points more than anything. We're averaging way under what we've averaged in the last 4 years, and if we were just somewhere close to that with the way we're playing defensively and the way our special teams are playing, we wouldn't be sitting here talking about it. So hopefully this week we can find some answers and get some more points on the board. But it's going to take that this week. Troy's a much improved team, especially defensively. They're doing a lot of good things defensively. So going back to the App State game, though, when you go back and look at the tape, I was, you know, pretty correct in my post-game comments with Otha Peters, Dominic Tovell, but one guy, Boris Lee. Boris Lee had one of his best games of the season. Was active, a lot of tackles, a lot of pressures on the quarterback. And I thought he played really well. I thought our secondary continued to make some plays, and our linebacker crew was very active. So I was real proud of those guys. Stephen Coots, I thought, had an outstanding game. He dropped 2 balls on the 5-yard line where the missiles had a chance to catch it and down it deep, and they let it hit and went into the end zone. But he put it right where you needed, and he had 2 50-plus punts. And so the guy continues to play really well. Steve Artigue tried the first kick after he felt pretty good in warm-up, but he's just not ready. So we'll probably go with Bird here for the last game of the season. You go back also, people's asking me, you know, what about the quarterbacks? I thought Brooks did some nice things outside the pocket, continues to get better creating and extending plays, which is great to see. I thought Jordan Davis came in and handled himself very well there at the end, completing 7 for 7 and getting the team in the end zone. So, you know, he will get some playing time this week. But like I mentioned before, I don't see him getting the start, but he will get some playing time as we try to continue to find some answers offensively. But defensively, I really like the direction we're going with some of the players. And we're excited about this game this week against Troy. Last home game. Got a chance. We need to go out on a positive note as we go into recruiting and into the off season. And you know, to me, senior night, and I'm expecting a good crowd for those seniors, because this senior class is going to be defined by their body of work. When you look at their body of work, regardless of this season, it's not many senior classes in the country that can say they've had this body of work. Some other senior classes may have had 2 good seasons in a row, a bad season, and then 2 at the end. Just so happens theirs was at the end. But you can't take away the body of work that these guys have done. So really proud of these guys with their efforts and what they've done for our university with the bowl wins, the 9-win seasons, and I expect them to play really hard for their final game in Cajun Field. I'll be excited for them. I'll be expecting a big crowd to show up and see Jamal Robinsons and those guys play their last game. Guys that's really done a lot for this program. Dominic Tovell's. It'll be exciting for those guys, so I'm excited for them. So for that, open up any questions.
When you kind of reflect back to that senior class, because this is the last of your first ones, did you have any idea that it would be anything close to this?
Well, you know, we really felt that Dominic Tovell was going to be a really good player. To be honest with you, may have been better than we thought. We thought Jamal Robinson had a high ceiling, and he did. But those guys really developed well. A lot of these seniors in this class really developed well, and just really, really proud of them. Even Darzell Washington, he would have been here at the exact same time as the rest of these guys, but we got him on the end, so he finished up with the senior class that he would have came in with, and so we've seen a lot of our players really develop nicely, and I think we've done a really good job in our player development. And when you see some of the guys where they have came on in their careers, evolved, gotten bigger, stronger, faster, and made huge impacts.
Will Mike be out there with the guys on Saturday?
He will be. Yes, he will.
I know this is obviously it was devastating for the team not to have him this year, and just personality-wise devastating not to have him around. So,
yeah, he's that leader. He's that natural-born leader that you really miss. You missed his playing ability. Yeah, you really did. But the main thing that we also missed was his leadership. He wasn't afraid to speak up. Good leader, solid leader. And but I'm still excited because I really hope the fans will give him a great going away present with a great cheer, because he would have tied his brother's record for all-time starts. That's what he was wanting to do, Daniel, if he'd had a chance to finish out this season.
Coach, why couldn't he medical redshirt?
Because he had already redshirted.
Okay, I didn't.
Go,
Well,
going off of what Luke asked with Mike, when the other guys on the line had to kind of adjust on the fly to not having him, and some had to switch positions, can you talk about what the seniors did, maybe Octavian, what they did to try to kind of help solidify things, what their role became once Mike went out?
Well, I think Octavian just tried to pick up the leadership part from right there, because he became the leader of the offensive line once he left, and he did a really good job. Donovan Williams has had a solid season, although he has played. He's been held together by Bailey Martin this whole year. I'm surprised he's made it this long. He has been just completely beat up, and I got to say that's a testament to his ability of just to want to be with his teammates and help his teams. He knew we were short offensively, and he has really fought through a lot of things just to be out in the field for these last 3 or 4 weeks.
This is kind of a new spot for this team with kind of what this week hit is. How do you approach it, kind of getting these guys ready for Saturday?
The only way to approach it like you do any other week, and that's your practice routine. But I did tell the seniors, and I reminded them, and they really took this to note. As a senior, when you start the season, you think you got 12, maybe 13 games left. Then the coach reminds you got 9, then you got 8, and you're still thinking, oh man, I've plenty of ball left. Now these guys are 6 days away from being basically pushed out into the world on their own. In 6 days, they won't have coaches making sure they go to class, making sure they're at breakfast check. Their life is totally going to change, and so I think that's hit them. I think they really want to make the most out of every practice this week, every second they can have with their teammates. Because I'm going to tell you, they're going to miss the playing time. They're going to miss the big games, the bowls. The things that they're also going to miss is the locker room with your teammates. That's what they're going to miss too. And so I really think that they're looking forward to coming over this week, and they're not. They're ready to finish strong, and they're ready to spend some time with their teammates, because this weekend in the locker room will be the last time that team will ever be together in one room ever again. Next year when they have a reunion, whatever, not everybody will make it back. That's what I told them. I said this would be the last time this complete team is in the room together for the last time. And so they're anxious, I think, to play well and to go out and win in Cajun Field.
There's a couple of ifs in this, but if you guys were to win on Saturday, if somehow it were to trickle down to you, how would you feel about even the possibility of going to a bowl for 5-17?
Somebody asked me that, and they said, would you feel bad, for going to a bowl at 5-7? And I said, well, would you feel bad if you won the lottery? And most of them said, well, no, I'd probably keep the money. I said, you wouldn't turn it back in and say, you really don't deserve it, you ain't lived the right way, and I just don't deserve this money, I'll just give it back. Well, at 5-7, I really don't think you probably deserve a bowl game. Anybody, not just us, any team in the country. And to be honest with you, I don't think 6-6 deserves a bowl game either, any more than 5-7. personally. So to me, we would use that as great preparation time to develop kids for the next season. And that's what the most important thing about bowl preparation is you get the extra practice time for the young kids. That's what the bowls give you. It's extra preparation time for young guys, young players. So wouldn't feel bad at all. Would be excited about the practice opportunities to continue getting better as a team. More than anything, that's what I'd be excited about as a coach.
Speaking of young players, with Davis, obviously you plan to use him. Is it a drive? Is it in tandem? I mean, do you have kind of a game plan going for Saturday? Or is it
Not
just kind of-
yet. Yeah, not yet, but we will. But it won't be just a play like right now where Jalen comes in on certain situations. It will be he'll get a series, maybe two or more, but he definitely will get a series in this game, or maybe even more. But we have not finalized a game plan of how much or when we're planning on playing Jordan. We just know he's going to play.
What do you like specifically about his skill set? What maybe separates him or differentiates him from Jalen Brooks?
Well, they're all different, all three of them. They all, have good qualities. Jordan, he's got a really quick release. He's very athletic, throws a good ball, and, every one of our quarterbacks, Brooks, Jalen, they all have great qualities. And so he's just going to get an opportunity to see if he can move the ball and more importantly, put the ball in the end zone. And for us, we've got to be able to score points to win games. And right now we hadn't done a great job of that. Now, is that just on the quarterback? Absolutely not. It's a team effort, and with the injuries we've had at the offensive line, that's made it tough because our quarterbacks aren't getting a lot of time to throw the football. And so I thought Brooks really did a good job with the pressure he was faced with the other night. To create when he had pressure on him, to get away from it and make some big plays. So I thought he continues taking really positive steps forward.
I know you were pretty quick to say he's not going to start, but why is that such an easy decision for you to not start him when this game?
Yeah, just because he probably just don't deserve to start quite yet. More than anything, just don't deserve it. He's worked hard. These other guys, though, have worked hard also. He's still going to play. I just think, Brooks is going to, deserves to start because he's doing some good things. And hopefully, though, the guys around him will pick their game up, too, because it takes 11. And but we would like to see Jordan. We would like to get him some work as we head into the off season and help in his development and sort of see where we're at.
You mentioned post game that you want to kind of tinker with the offense in the off season. Do you tinker at all this week as kind of a pre-exam of sort to kind of see what might work?
Well, you're always game planning things. Each week you're adding things to the game plan, so you're always somewhat tweaking things. But that's what sometimes with your offense, over 5 years, you keep tweaking, and like I mentioned, sometimes it don't even resemble what it used to be. And so sometimes you just need some of a fresh start. It won't be a complete overhaul. It'll just be going back to the basics, but more importantly, looking at what we have now with our offensive personnel as compared to what we did 5 years ago, and fitting it around what we have now as compared to what we did 5 years ago. And that's the biggest thing that we'll probably do as much as anything, is evaluate who we have, what type of skill level we think we had at each position in order to fit what we're doing around it.
Follow that up, how difficult is it, for whatever reason, the zone read doesn't seem to be working as effective as it had in the past? How difficult is it to change that somewhat midstream during the season?
Difficult, yeah, real difficult, and that's why here we mid-season. Right now, toward the end, we're not going to change a whole lot. Teams have done a good job of stopping the run. I'll give them credit; they've done a good job stopping the run. But our offensive guys up front, they have, like I said, each week it's been a different starter. Whether it's Goodacre, whether it's Donovan on the right side, the left side, Jesse Freeman every week. We just had no offensive line continuity. That's probably said too much to do with our running drop off as anything. It's just our offensive line mismatch. Those guys are beat up. They're playing through pain right now, injury, but they're fighting, and we just don't have any continuity because guys have moved around so much. It don't even resemble the offensive line that started the season. You got Diaquin at left tackle. You've got Grant at right guard. Neither one of those guys were even to be found when the season started, and now they're both at different positions. Diakman was at right tackle when the season started. Now he's starting left tackle. And Grant was back up right tackle. Now he's starting right guard. And so it is just, it's taking its toll. And, you can tell that's had an effect. And Eli's has not been as healthy as he normally would like to be, and that's taken a toll. So our running game has sort of suffered a little bit because of some of those things. And we haven't been as effective. We would like throwing the ball, so people put a lot of people in the box. And that makes it even harder also.
As far as the front goes, I know we want to talk quarterback all the time moving forward, but how nice is it to know you got a lot of guys coming back up front that have gotten some quality playing time?
On the offensive line?
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah, coming back, that's a great problem. Now we know we got all these guys returning that's gotten, probably 250, 300 snaps that they wouldn't have gotten. So, returning wise, you're going to have a lot of guys this spring that's gotten a lot of playing time. And you'll have a fresh team coming back in the spring that's healed up, and you'll have a lot of guys that's played real minutes in real games. And moving forward, that will really be a huge plus.
Troy had a nice little stretch there where they were starting to catch fire. What concerns you most about specifically the Trojans offense, because that's what their head coach is kind of known for?
Yeah, he's an offensive guy. Neil does a great job offensively. He's always, when he was there before, he was the OC, and they're doing a lot of the same stuff, and they're really going to be really good. You got a quarterback that can really spin it, and you got a stable full of receivers. But defensively is where they're really, making their money right now. They're very good defensively too. I think they're only giving up maybe 26 points a game, and they've got a pretty creative scheme, and I think they're doing a really good job. It's going to be a challenge.
Coach, how do you go about deciding if it's an injured offensive line, personnel issue, or a scheme tweak or change that needs to fix it into the offseason?
I would say every one of those. Definitely, you need some guys healed up. We're dragging legs around right now. We're dragging shoulders around. Like I said, we're just holding them together right now the best we can. So that will help when those guys come back from injury. Getting guys 15 practices in spring ball at the same position, working together, building continuity will help tremendously. And then looking at what we're doing and see if there's some things that we want to change and some things we want to move to based on our personnel could even help also. But, a lot of people, it's only so many ways you block the zone, so that's not really will be the change. You hear people run inside zone. There's a lot of ways you can run the zone, but blocking the zone doesn't necessarily change a whole lot. There's different things you can do off the zone, whether it's zone read, whether you block the zone, don't read it, those type of things.
So what scheme would best allow you to utilize Eli's talents the most?
You'd have to give me a little time to study that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. We've got to utilize his talents though, and just him being the solo guy in the box has not allowed him to probably be as creative as he needs to be and would like to be. And that's what gave us that extra edge last year when Zoe got a 240-pound back and we had Elijah out on the edge. That really helped him get in space. But when he came the single running back, then that changed a little bit his role. And then when you took him out of the backfield and put him out wide, then everybody knew something was going on because he's your best player. If you're going to take him out of the backfield and put him out here, why are you doing that? Well, there's some reason you're doing that. So we've got to find a way to make that flow and not just be where we pick and choose and put him out there. And that'll be the study for the off season starting in January.
Could your true freshman running back be redshirt if you're ready to
Possibly.
step into that role, or would you consider Jalen full-time?
Possibility too. Yep, that's a possibility also. Yep.
Coach, you mentioned that Eli hasn't been completely healthy. Is it just general wear and tear, or is there a trouble spot you noticed?
Yeah, it's pretty documented. His shoulder's been pretty banged up all camp, all season. And just, running backs take a toll, and especially a guy that's carrying all the load right now for the team. So it's taking its toll along with, our offensive line has just been banged up, and they're trying their best and giving a great effort. But, so far we've just struggled offensively. And like I said, man, we're in that ball game last week fighting. And, I think we've played them on defense probably as well as anybody in the country's played them this year. And we had a chance to if we could have scored some points, get out of there with a win on the road.
I know you referenced a couple weeks ago that basically every position is going to be open for competition this offseason. Do you take some guys that maybe haven't seen much playing time this year and give them some Saturday to kind of get a gauge on where they're at, or is that?
No, the thing we're going to do, Sarah, this is not going to be a spring tryout. This is going to be play to win the game. We do want to play Jordan because we think he might can help us win the game. That's why we're playing him. But this will be play to win the game. And at this late in the season, a couple of snaps here or there. Don't know if that'll do a whole lot for you. If there's somebody that we think can help us win the game, we'll give some reps. But most of our guys that travel are all playing. We only traveled 4 wide receivers last week. 4 wide receivers. That's what we're down to. And so our next guy in was probably going to be me. I played as a sophomore. And so, we're really thin. So it's not like we can throw anybody else in there to try them out because everybody else is redshirting, and we're not going to, pull a red shirt this late in the season.
Is there a specific senior in this class, and I hate to make you, pick one specific, whose story, progression, what have you, that really kind of sticks in your mind as kind of defining this senior class?
I don't know. There's a lot of good stories within the senior class. Each one of their stories are different, but to me, probably the most consistent two, I guess, would be Michael Quave and Dominic Tovell. Their play was just so consistent each year, each game, not up and down. They were just consistent each week in doing their job. Those are the things that come to mind when I think about those two players. But we've had a lot of seniors that, man, have won a lot of games out there at Cajun Field and leave here, 4-0 in bowl games. And so this senior class is a special senior class. And for whatever reason, had some life lessons taught to them this year, taught to all of us. But we're going to learn from them. That's what you do. If you're smart, you learn from them and you get better.
2 more questions, please.
Michael Quave's thinking about pursuing a career in television, man. What are your
You better
thoughts
look
on
out
that,
for your
Coach?
job. I wouldn't be asking him to come around and do too many guest interviews with you now. He's pretty good. Now, he would be great at that. Man, that guy's got a personality, and he could really make a career at that. I think he'd be really good. Very knowledgeable, very smart, outgoing.
What are some of the life lessons you think that you guys have learned, both the team and the staff?
Well, I'll tell you, it's numerous. One is how do you handle adversity? How do you come back every day at practice, in a full week after you didn't play well the Saturday before, and how you attack practice, how you attack your work and have the same enthusiasm that you would have if you would have won the game. Anybody could come to practice and go to work the next day after you had a great day at work and sold 3 cars, or you won a game, or you wrote the story of the year and you win that award. Anybody can go to work the next day. But how do you handle life when you go the next day when you've been hit with a little bit of adversity? And these are some life lessons that's going to help these kids later on, because they've had it really good for 4 years. They've done some things that no team in the nation has done. And they're all talking about these teams that's had a great year, the Memphises and the Toledos and all them. Wow, they had this great. They did. Can't take nothing away from them. But this team has had it 4 years in a row, and now they've been hit with a little adversity. And to see how they've responded has been outstanding, because they really could have just sort of turned the faucet off and just rode it out. But man, these guys came to practice every day. They still come to weights excited, wanting to be a good team, wanting to work hard and to win. So I think it's going to be some lessons that we talked about in our team meeting. In life, they're going to have bad days at work. They're going to have deals with their families, going to have adversity. How they're going to be the man of their home when their home and their family is hit with a tragedy or some adversity. Are they going to be able to pull from this and be strong and stand up and be that man of that family? And I really think they all will, because we got some strong men, some strong Christian men. This team has come a long ways.
Sims McElfresh, the best name in the Sun Belt?
What's that?
Sims McElfresh,
You know
best
what?
name in the
That's
Sun Belt?
crazy that you say that. Pre-game warm-up, and I saw the guy run by, and I read about him, as we get ready to game plan, but on the back, McElfresh. I said, man, that sounds pretty cool. That's a cool name. And so I would give that the coolest name right now, because I used to love a car driver named Lake Speed. He was my favorite NASCAR driver. I don't know if y'all remember him back in the 80s. I always thought I liked him just because he had a cool name. And so I liked him just because he had a cool name too. He was a good little player too.
McElfresh Hudspeth sounds pretty good.
Yeah, I may keep that in mind now. But it won't be a McElfresh coming along. Knock on wood. All right, thanks guys.
It's better racing.